Population control has saved us from war and poverty, but has condemned us to lives of chronic illness, has downgraded our genetic and intellectual endowment, has already rendered a quarter of us sterile, and has damaged all our children in one way or another. Continuing on this path is a recipe for disaster. Disaster on a scale and scope that is without precedent in human history. This is what awaits us unless we stop the carnage. 2 out of 4 women worldwide will be sterile by the middle of this century, and 3 out of 4 will be sterile by the end of this century. And in the same time frame, most males will have substandard sperm. 2 billion genetic lineages will be terminated by 2050, and 4 billion by 2100. The IQ will be lowered worldwide from an average of circa 90 today to an average of 70 by 2050 and 50 by the end of the century. And mental retardation will be the norm rather than the exception. Half the population will be sexually confused. Half the world's children will suffer from developmental disorders. 9 out of 10 people worldwide will have severely damaged endocrine systems, resulting in chronic illness in at least 3/4 of the population. And life expectancy will sink from an average of 70 years today to 60 years by the middle of the century and 50 years by the end. These are not guesses. These projections are already bitter reality. In Japan, for instance, where the population control program began first because it was imposed by the Allied forces, already more than half of the youth is not only incapable of reproduction, but utterly uninterested in sex. And this means that the population is already collapsing. Perhaps the most frightening aspect of this scenario is that a century from now, almost everyone alive will be utterly incapable of understanding the immediate reality, let alone comprehending the historical transition that the global depopulation policy will have caused. What has taken nature and God eons of evolution to perfect, man will have destroyed in just 1 century. There is no name yet in the criminal code of any country to describe the affront that man has caused to God and nature by the devolution of man by man that the global depopulation policy engenders. Thank you.